Moment of truth. Alright, let's see how this goes. Stream is starting. Ah! Let's go and update the stream options. Alright. I actually don't have any headphones on this device either, so let's see how we go. Quickly update the settings here and hit the save button. What I should do, because I'm a clever person, is bring this up and check the audio. If we go to videos, all right, testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see how loud I actually am. Echo! Yeah, cool. Alright, then we're good. Beautiful. So, let's see. Why does it say my stream health is orange? What on earth does orange mean? Ultra low latency, 1080p. Says we green. Let's have a quick look here. Task manager. CPU is good. GPU is also good. Alright. No dropped frames. Okay. So the goal of today is going to be to fix up my arms first of all. So the goal of today is going to be to set up Odocrypt from the very start. So we've got some instructions here. Now what I will actually do is try and bring this forward so we can see it. Let's just hope I don't pull it out, because otherwise I have to disappear and... Okay. Oh, that's it, that's the end. Okay. Tough. Here we go. So, we have here the DE10 Nano. I haven't actually taken the protective shield off of it. Super well planned. That's okay. So, we're going to go through and we're going to do everything right from the very beginning, including installing Linux. I happen to have a lovely laptop here to my side, which I won't even lift up and spin around just because it's plugged in. We have handy dandy thumb drive as well, so let's get started. So this is going to be Odocrypt. What I should actually do really quickly is go and pop a link to this up on Twitter.
Steve and Dave use eTorrent.
Why is my chat disconnected? Logging in again with two-factor because I love two-factor. And then let's sort out what's happening with the chat here. All right. All right. And I've got chat back. My boy just like, g'day mate, g'day Jason. You weren't kidding about being live and doing this. No, I joke about a lot of things, but being live is not one of them. Looks good, sounds good. Thanks, Damien. It's good to have everybody here. Good morning from Australia. I has him. Welcome. Yeah, we're just after midday here, so 12:30 here in New Zealand. Whew. Alright, what a morning. Had to run around, try and find a display port cable to hook it up, so I've got monitor here and I've got monitor over here as well. Laptop down here, FPGA down there. Alright then. So, first things first, we're going to need an operating system. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unplug this. You're just going to have to bear with me if I disappear. I want to show you this. Let's unplug this here. Cool. So, what I should even do is bring this up because I'm clever. Right, so. We have a laptop. There is nothing on it at all. Plug the power back in. And the HDMI. So, I've gone through and wiped this. You don't specifically have to. It's totally cool if you don't. We're going to cover this off. First things first, what we're going to want to do is get Ubuntu. Maybe what I should do, because I'm a clever person, is I'm going to put all of these links as we go in the video description, and hopefully it will update live. And I can pop them in the chat. Okay. So, back to Ubuntu. We're going to download just Ubuntu desktop. Let's pop this in the chat as well, just in case anybody wants to follow along or do this later on. I'm going to grab the long-term support edition. There's not really too much difference between the two of them. Let's hit the download button. Thank you for downloading Ubuntu desktop. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, that's downloading. What we're now going to get is we're going to get Yummy, your universal multi-boot installer. Now, I'll explain this in a moment. Let's grab this link again, and we'll paste this in here, and we'll also paste it in the chat in case you're curious. Jalumpin asks, Odocrypt, question mark. Yes, Odocrypt. I should actually update the title. Setting up Odocrypt for DigiByte FPGA mining. Testnet. Alright, there we go. We now say testnet. So, before we come back to this particular pendrive Linux for Yummy, what we're going to do is we're going to go here. So Odocrypt. Odocrypt is a unique GPU and FPGA friendly hashing algorithm made specifically for DigiByte that changes itself every 10 days as an anti-ASIC method. So this is something I wrote in a hurry back when I was first updating this website. When did I do this? A month ago? Yeah. So, how does Odocrypt work? Basically, it uses the Ketchak, which is SHA-3, as the hashing function, and it changes certain parts of itself every 10 days. Now, it's a little bit different on testnet because that updates itself every day. This was done so that you can more quickly check your changes and ensure that you are reprogramming things correctly. However, on mainnet, we do every 10 days because we then allow for people with slightly slower hardware to subsequently ensure they've got everything up to date. Anyway, so we've got Ubuntu downloading here. I'm going to want to put this onto my handy dandy thumb drive, and my computer is around the other side of the desk, so I'm going to need to go plug that in a minute. But in order to put Ubuntu onto it, we're going to grab Yummy, your universal multi-boot installer. Multi-boot creator. Yeah, there we go. So if I come down here, we're going to download it. My mouse is a little bit sensitive. I've already downloaded this yesterday, but just to give you an example, it doesn't exactly take long. So what I'll do now is I'll quickly run around, give me a second, and I'll go plug the thumb drive in. And we have a nice super chat from Jalanpon. Am I pronouncing that right? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's cool. This is one of the things that I enjoy doing, is these kind of tutorials and educating people and helping people to learn some cool stuff along the way. There's so much to learn when it comes to cryptocurrency, blockchain, DigiByte, that I've been doing this now for such a long time, and even I'm still learning things genuinely every single day. So what we're going to do now, we've just seen this flash up. Let's bring up Yummy. It's thinking about it, or is it putting it on the other screen? Yeah, it's going to put it on the other screen. Okay. So, I agree. What we're going to do is find my... Which drive? Windows needs to format G drive. Okay. Is that the right one? Yeah, it is. What I should do really quickly, just to show everybody, is okay. So DVD drive, G drive. I don't know where the other one came from. It's saying something about an F drive. That's not the right one. This is the thumb drive that I've just gone and put in. Select my distribution, Ubuntu. Nice and easy. We're going to do a FAT32 format. Now keep in mind this is going to wipe everything. So we will wipe the entire disk. Cool, too easy. We're going to click on Browse, Downloads, Ubuntu. I'm now going to go Create, and it's basically warning me everything is going. So I'm going to wipe this now. We'll click Yes. Sit back, and we give it a moment. So this is using disk part. Interesting. That's how it does it. It's found my main drive, disk 1, no media. I think maybe I've actually got a card reader in this device. I'll go have a look later. Disk 2, this is my thumb drive here, 14 gigs. So anything that's kind of 8 gigs or more should be more than sufficient. I'm pretty sure you can get away with a 4 gig drive if you really want, but the drives are cheap. It's not going to take you too long. Most people have one kind of floating around anyway. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, okay, you can see I'm in the lovely DigiByte hoodie. It's getting a bit warm here. It's midday. That's all right. Let's see what we've got. Alright, so it's copying across. Where's 7-zip? Oh, it's on this one. So this is what pops up. This is what you can see. Basically, it's getting everything ready to put onto the thumb drive so that you can then install Ubuntu Linux. Now, we did some stuff trying out WSL. So WSL is Windows Subsystem? Yeah, Windows Subsystem for Linux. Installation guide. So we tried this, didn't work. Turns out there's no USB support if you try and run Windows Subsystem for Linux. I think if we go Windows Subsystem for Linux USB device, please use USB to serial adapters via Windows Subsystem for Linux. Basically, you can't do it. So you can't plug in a device into a Windows computer like the FPGA and have it work under WSL. Now the theory is that you should be able to potentially run this directly. Not something that I've tried though with Windows, so maybe we'll try a follow-up video and you can watch me kind of flounder around with that and fail miserably, because that's going to go even better than this is. Let me bring up Yummy. This shouldn't take too long. Apparently I've got a really slow thumb drive here. So what's going to happen from here? Basically, I'm going to go around and I'll unplug the thumb drive. We'll take the laptop, we'll plug it into the laptop. I will hopefully just be able to restart it and it will boot off of it. If you have not, actually maybe we can quickly do this as I'll bring up the BIOS. Let's bring up the BIOS here. Oh hey, it's pronounced, but just J will work. Awesome, thanks Jay. So what I'll do is I will unplug this laptop here, and we're going to bring up the... So this is going to work really well because I can't actually bring up the BIOS just yet. Where is... just so I can see what everybody sees. So you start your device up. At the moment it's going to say push F2, I think it is. So I'm going to push F2, no, F10. And I'm going to go into my system. Here we go, okay. Let me swivel around. So if I... here we go. What I can do is I can go up here to Advanced, and you're probably going to need to do something like this. If you're following along, you're going to want to go down here to Boot Options, and if I scroll all the way down here, let me go all the way down, you can adjust the hard drive boot order. So if I bring this over here, hopefully it'll focus enough. Basically what you want is you want USB to be at the top. Just going to hit escape a couple times, we're going to quit, Save the changes. No. The other option is, when it pops up, we can bring up, where are we here? F9 for boot options. So if I push F9, it's going to give me the option to boot from a hard drive or from a USB later on once I plug it in. So you'll need to go through and find out how to do this. This is going to be unique. It's going to be different for every single computer. I can't kind of tell you, but for the most part, if you turn on your computer, push F2, F10, or escape, maybe the delete key, it's going to be one of those. You'll have to flounder around a little bit there and figure it out. Let me plug this back in. Slowest thumb drive ever. How big is this? It's tiny. Anyway, let's move this back over here. What have we got? Okay, so it's 2 gigs worth. Man, that's slow. It's alright, 15 minutes and all we've done is flash a thumb drive. How awesome is that? Alright, so as we go along though, feel free to ask any questions. Maybe I should even mention that. They're money for DigiByte. All finished, process is complete. Fantastic. Do I want to add more? No, that's fine. I'm now going to... What we'll do is we'll go to... Right click on it, safely eject. It's now safe to eject. Brilliant. I will be right back. We have the thumb drive, let's plug it in, and hopefully this will start up pretty quickly. What I should now do is bring up the game capture. And let's see if this will work. Moment of truth. Oh, it's doing something. There we go. Alright, so Ubuntu's booting up. In theory, you can run this all live off a thumb drive. You don't actually have to do the installation. In theory. How are we looking? Yes! What I should do if I was clever is grab another mouse, but I don't have one. That's okay. So we're going to go install. World's fastest thumb drive. Actually, I may have a mouse. Let me grab that. That'll be handy. Right. We have a mouse. Welcome. Default keyboard, totally fine. And we're going to go through. Do I want to join Wi-Fi? Nope. But what I can do is plug in a network cable. I don't want to connect to Wi-Fi right now. Let's continue. We're going to do a minimal installation. Basically, we don't need any of the extra stuff like Office software or games. We really don't care. Do we want to install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware? Yes. I'm not actually going to be using Wi-Fi, but it's if you have a laptop that you're going to be installing this on, grab it just to make sure that you've got proper support for your Wi-Fi, just in case you end up using Wi-Fi. It does work on it, and it actually works just fine, but for the most part, cabling's better. I'm going to erase the disk. Yep, I want to put just Ubuntu on there, so I'm going to go install now. Everything will be wiped. Good. I'm not in New York, I'm in New Zealand. Your name, DigiByte. DigiByte Minor. That'll do. Pick a username, DigiByte. Pick a password, DigiByte. And I'm going to log in automatically because there's not going to be anything on there that needs to be private. Cool. And that's it. So the installation shouldn't actually take too long, but we need to, actually while we're doing this, what I'm going to do is go and grab, let's not get some other things ready. The Bruins are on, I got you on my side screen. So what we need to do is go to, actually I put the links in here. FPGA mining. Maybe actually while we're doing this I should quickly go back here to choosing FPGA hardware. So there's two that I've personally tested, both the Cyclone V GX Starter Kit and the DE10 Nano. This one you can actually order from Amazon as well, and apparently they even ship like next day. Show me the pictures. There we go. So that's exactly what I've got. Not too expensive, 130 bucks. By the time shipping it works out like 200 New Zealand, but that's the joys of living on this other side of the world. Anyway, so what we'll do though is we'll go back. So we are here at dgbwiki.com on the Odocrypt page. We're going to go to FPGA mining, and this is the guide that I've basically written. So we're going to find out just how good my guide really was. Now, in terms of getting things ready, this FPGA software from Intel is going to take a little while to download. So I'm going to do this now. Download Center for FPGAs. What do we want? We want the Lite edition, and this should then change to 18.1. We want it for Linux. We want direct download. Actually, do we? Let's quickly check this. I'm going to have to tell it I've forgotten my password because I don't know what my password is. Fantastic. An email containing instructions and a link to reset. Really? This was some of the fun that I was talking about. So what you would normally do is go through here and sign up. Let's see what we've got here. I actually don't even know my details. Interesting. That's right. So this is what we want. Quartus Lite. 6 gigs. Woohoo! Let's try download and see what happens. Oh, cool. Chrome remembers. I think actually what we want to do is go to individual files. Now we want the Cyclone 10 device support. We don't care about Stratix, we don't care about the ARIA, we don't want the Model Slim, and we don't want that one either. So all we want is Quartus Prime and Cyclone. I don't think we even want that. We just want Quartus Prime. Download selected files. Oh no, I want Linux. So it's gone and changed it back because I've now signed in. We want the Lite. It's going to refresh. We want Linux. Come on, Intel, your website's terrible. And we want direct download. Now we're talking. So this is what we want here. Quartus Prime. Download. I'm also going to grab Cyclone 5 device support because this is what both the models are based off of. So the Cyclone 5 starter kit and the DE10 nano kit are both Cyclone 5 FPGAs. Keep in mind, you can't go out and just buy something like the DE0 or the DE10 Lite, I think it is, both of which have completely different FPGAs inside of them. So what we're also going to do is grab this Cyclone 5 device support. Telling me it's going to take 42 minutes. Maybe we do need to use the download manager. Oh, alright. Individual files, because otherwise we'll be here all day. Download the selected files, download the installer. We don't have 22 minutes to wait. Let's quickly switch back and see how the install's going. Installing generic HWE. Cool, whatever. Almost finished with the installation. Awesome. Let's run the Akamai installer here to see if this will speed up the installation. Select the download folder. Sure, documents works, why not? 9 megabytes a second? Yeah, 6 minutes. That's a lot better. Cool. Alright then. So, if we go back to this, let's have a quick look. Don't tell me it's gone to sleep at the end here. It has. Install took so long that the laptop turned the monitor off. Good job, Ubuntu. While I'm doing this, are there any other questions so far? I think we've got all of the links in here. Let's actually put, hello, I'm in Morocco. Morocco, nice. Let's go down. This is specifically the link that we then want. Install instructions. And let's switch back. These two can be cancelled. Let's forget about them. Come on, Ubuntu. You can do it. I feel like this is actually recording as it's going along, despite me having told it not to. I think it's one of those play back your game even if you haven't been recording options. Anyway, let's see how this is looking here with the downloads. I mean, they're getting there, 4 minutes. So we'll wait for Ubuntu to finish installing. Now, once we've done this, there's a couple of other things we're going to need to do as well. So we're going to install the FPGA software support. This is what we've just been downloading from Intel directly, because Intel are the manufacturer that makes these boards. Next, what we're going to do is install the DigiByte core software, because everybody at the moment, if you are going to be mining with an FPGA, you need to be running the software yourself on your own computer. So we're going to set up the DigiByte testnet, because right now we're only on the testnet. As of block 9.1 million, we'll be on the main net, and then you can basically just change over the settings so that it points it at the main net on your computer. It's not difficult. There's basically one line in the config. It's nice and simple. It's still going. Now I've been clever and I've copied off the testnet blockchain from another computer that's just going to help us speed up the sync time, because otherwise I'll have to sit here for another 10-15 minutes and wait as it synchronizes the blockchain. We obviously don't want to do that, so hopefully we'll be able to get somewhere semi-decent today. I'm also aware that it's going to take a bit of time to compile all of the software that it needs. We've got the auto compile script. I'll explain a little bit more about that later on. but we'll get most of the way. We'll get most of the way. Why is this taking so long? I can't click on it there. I need to click on it down here. Like, I really don't care about half these things it's trying to install. Actually, can we minimize? There we go. Just get rid of that. Yes! Install has finished. Restart now. That took a lot longer than it should have. Anyway. Unplug the thumb drive. Woo! Now, let's see how that install's going. 1 minute left. Cool. We'll give it a bit longer. It's still Saturday night for us in the States. I like Ubuntu, but it's problematic with the majority of programs out there. Yeah, yeah, I've tried myself. So I've been using Linux ever since Red Hat Linux 6, I think, which was about 16 years ago now. I've had experience with everything from back in the day we used to use Lilo before we used Grub. I remember doing some early Gentoo Linux installations for 64-bit support back when everybody else was only using 32-bit. This was one of the bleeding edge kind of distributions. So I've kind of got a little bit of experience there when it comes to that sort of thing, just mucking around with it on a desktop. But you're absolutely right. For the most part, I can't be bothered and I run Windows myself, as you can see based on the fact that I have a start menu down the corner here. So Ubuntu's up. Let's tell it to clone the monitor rather than extend it. There we go. Alright, so I have my handy dandy thumb drive. Let's see if this is finished. Yes, it's finished. Let's do this again. I'll put it documents. Cool, let's grab these two files because I'll copy them across. Now the reason that I'm doing it this way is because otherwise we've got to sit down and wait for it to happen. What do you mean I don't have enough space? Oh, of course I don't have enough space. Let's go get rid of everything except for that. It's only a 4 gig thumb drive. So otherwise we would have to wait for the downloads on the actual laptop that I'm using itself, and no one wants to have to do that. So hopefully this will speed things up a little bit. We'll just be able to take it, copy it across. Don't tell me this thumb drive's going to tell me it's super slow as well. I can actually download it from the internet faster. 6 megabytes a second versus the 9 from... Are you serious? No way. Can I SCP this across? Let's do that instead. I'm gonna SCP it across. Download one SCP. That'll do. Okay. So this is plan B because I don't want to wait another 10 minutes for it to copy onto that slow ass thumb drive. Close. Yep. So what I'm going to do is bring up Ubuntu. Software updater is ready. I don't care. Why do I need to update all my software? Okay, so we want the terminal, and I want the IP address. 122.239. Awesome. So do I not have the server running? let's quickly check. Let's install an SSH server. So this isn't something that you should need to do. I'm doing this hopefully to save us 10 minutes by taking 2 minutes. This is part of the fun that I was talking about. You get to see it live and raw as it happens. Processing triggers for the firewall. Awesome. Yes. Copy them across. MB. Why is it so slow? Oh, so the other one must only be 100 meg. Let's have a quick look. Network adapters. Ethernet connection. Jumbo packets. Okay, so this is gigabit. The laptop's probably not. My goodness, that's hilarious. There's no winning. There's really not. Whatever. Okay. What we'll do now is we'll grab putty, because I'll do this on this machine here now itself. I think I actually make mention of it in here. Did I mention putty? I didn't. Wow, that's okay. Alright, let's grab putty. You can download putty here. A great set of links popping up now, and 64-bit. Alternatively, just run the file. That's us. Alright, 192.168.122. What were we? Let's bring this back up. 239. So, hopefully this will be a lot easier, because I can now copy and paste things directly out of the website. See? Clever. Alright. What have we got? Okay, so it's copying them across. While this is happening, what I should do is grab that thumb drive, let's safely eject it, and we'll pop it into the laptop. So I can take this sucker here, we're going to plug it in, because it has the testnet on it. And let's get things ready. Who am I? I'm DigiByte. Awesome. So maybe what I should do is actually just run through the list rather than going back and forth myself a bunch of times, because otherwise it's going to be a bit harder to follow along with down the line. So let's start by installing Python while this is still copying. Sudo bash, password of DigiByte. That's right, it's a right click. We're going to right click to paste. Hello, whoa. Just a couple of updates to install. Copying across, shouldn't take too much longer. Now, after this, we're going to also install the Python modules. Can I hire you as my tech team? I mean, yeah, sadly, I mean, I'm doing this for free, so, although obviously thank you for the super chat, but you get what I mean. I hang out as well on Telegram, things like that as well, so even Twitter, really. If you need support, just ask as you go along with it. Telegram's probably the best place to start with. We have the mining channel. So let's grab the link for that. So if we go digibyte.io, and if we come all the way to the bottom, we have Telegram mining. Let's pop this in here. And the developers channel, because we talk about it a lot in there as well. Anyway, back to here. So we're going to install this now as soon as this is finished. Home master DigiByte is not owned and the cache has been disabled. Ah, because I need to not be root. Let's try that again. Much better. We can update that later and clarify that that should be run as root user. Right. This is finished copying. Yeah. Yep. So what I'm going to do is bring this back up. No, you know what? Let's just grab it from the website. We'll follow along. These are not in the downloads folder, so I can just chmod +x Quartus Lite and run it. Follow the instructions to finish the installation. Alright, the third party takes you over display setup. This installation will run in console mode. Yes. Do I agree with Eula? Yes. License agreement? Yes. And again. Oh man. Is there a way to speed past this? All the licenses. Holy moly, do you accept? Yes. Specify the directory where it will be installed. Yeah, that works. Let's copy that just in case we need it. That'll keep it easy for later. Do you install the free edition? Yes. Devices? Yes. Cyclone 5? Yes. Is the selection correct? Yes. So, basically what it's done... don't go to sleep on me. Is... Do we have that? No, it wasn't there. Let's duplicate the session. So, because we downloaded Quartus Lite setup, and we have the Cyclone 5 device support, which is what we installed, where was it? This one, device support. Because we have that, it automatically detected, only prompted us to install that, so we saved ourselves 6 gigs, I think, worth of download. This is the installation here. We'll give it a moment. Maybe while that's happening, let's turn off this power support. No. Settings. Blank screen. Never. Turn off Wi-Fi to save power. Nope. Alright, there we go. That should work well enough. Now it's going to stay powered on. Cool. We're almost done with the setup here. While this is happening, let's go grab ourselves github.com DigiByte releases. Gonna grab ourselves the latest DigiByte. We want the 64-bit one here. So there's a couple of them. This one here, AArch64, is for the ARM architecture. So this is not what you're going to want to run on your computer. This is more for things like a 64-bit Raspberry Pi, although even the Raspberry Pi itself doesn't work because it doesn't have memory. So technically that would be for the ROC64. We've got OS X for Mac OS, 2 for Windows, and this one here for Linux. So if we come back to, it's still in downloading, okay. We're going to type wget and then we're going to paste the link in. Shouldn't take it too long. And we're just going to get things ready. Now, while that's happening, what we can do is, let's bring this back up. I'm just going to go in here. Open. And we'll grab these two. And just pop it on my desktop. Where's my copy status? Up the top there. Hey, that's cool. Alright, so I've copied them off the thumb drive. Can I eject it? Yes. Get that out of my way. Alright, we're making progress. Let's go back and see where we're at. So we've done this, we've done this. Now we need to grab... I'm not sure if we actually installed Git. Create desktop shortcuts. No. Launch it. No. Provide your feedback. Yeah, you have way too long of a EULA. What we're going to run now is git not installed sudo apt-get install git. Do we need build essential as well? I'm not too sure. I think we're actually about to find out. DJ Morphe when I never mind. Alright, so we've done this, we've gone and installed Python, we've installed the additional modules. This, I believe, is just like what I put in here. DigiByte Intel FPGA 18 Quartus bin. It is brilliant. Yeah, let's just keep using this one. So, well, I am DigiByte. And we're going to place this right at the very end after this. This tells it where the Quartus path is because it's slightly different from this one. We're going to install that source profile because I'm not going to bother logging out. Let's also run this on this one just in case I forget later. Ah, fantastic. Look, I even put it in there like that. You should either log out of your X session or run this. Oh, so clever. Normally, only root can access the FPGA hardware, but running things as root is bad practice. I'm glad I put that in there. Copy. Paste. That's not there because we didn't actually clone this. So, this is OdoMiner. Let's actually bring it up and I'll show you. Pop it in links. So this is the software that autocompile now cleans up all files. Nice. That's going to save some hard drive space. Good stuff. This is the Odocrypt FPGA miner. There's a bunch of stuff that is inside of it that will go into crypto pool miner. RNV. Additional support. Nifty. This is where the installation instructions were originally taken from as well. So in case you're not familiar with it, Mental Collapse is one of the developers, also the brain behind Odocrypt, if you will. Incredibly smart dude, and I've got a lot of respect for the work that he puts out. So what we'll do though is we'll go back to the instructions here. So what we're doing is we're telling it we want to grab all of the files. This is git clone. Bring it back up, all done because it's tiny, shouldn't take too long. So if we now follow through down here, cd OdoMiner, and we're going to run this. what we're telling it is edit these Altera rules with your name so that you have permissions. We're now going to copy these rules, and then I'm going to reload the device manager. Connecting your hardware. Congratulations, you can now connect your hardware. This is the part I'm worried about. Let's see if this works. So, FPGA. Now, actually, let me bring this up just so I can see what you can see. Alright. On the device here, we have the network port. This is the wrong side to use. You want to be using this side. So we've got over here the power supply, which you will be using. We've got the HDMI port, which you will not be using. And we've also got the mini USB, which you will be using. So let's plug in the mini USB cable, which I've plugged into the wrong computer. Try this again. So, mini USB. This is different from micro USB, which charges a lot of older cell phones and things. So, same side as the power. I'm just going to plug this one in. Ta-da! Magic. And I'm going to plug it into the power, and hopefully this just works. So actually, I wonder if I can lift it up enough to see. Nope, not really. It's like right there. Don't worry. There's a blue light on it. It's nothing too exciting. Anyway, congratulations, you can now connect your hardware. I got a really good idea. Why don't I do this? Alrighty. Let's see if it's detected it. It's detected it! Yes! Let's make sure it's functioning happy. It's not. Why not? Intel FPGA 18.1 Quartus bin. Hey? Why do I not have JTAG config? I do. So why won't it run? Quartus bin JTAG config. That's why, because I'm an idiot. Ah! And let's just close this other one as well. So, naturally you need to update the username and path depending on where you've extracted it. I never updated miner. Yep. Let's try and run that again. Yes. That's what we like to see. Thanks for doing this all, by the way. You're welcome. It's cool. It's a good bit of fun, and you can. I mean, so when you see me writing a whole bunch of stuff on Medium, this is mostly what I'm doing, is fumbling my way through some instructions and hopefully tidying it up enough. What I really do need to do is go back here and update that, because even I missed it. I'm that clever. Whatever. Alright, you're now ready to begin mining. We're going to want to open several terminals in DigiByte Core 17.17.1. Okay, I believe now comes the part where, I tell you what, let's actually quickly install No Machine so I can run it in the interface itself. This one, yes. The cable's on the keyboard, that's not helpful. Download No Machine for Linux, and you'll see why in a moment. So No Machine is basically remote desktop software, kind of like VNC, if you've used VNC before, except this one's way faster. I'm going to grab the deb package because we're running Ubuntu and download. I'm going to save. Alright, so what I should be able to do is downloads. Was it no machine? Yep. You know what? I'll even quickly grab a link for this just in case people are curious. And I've gone and clicked on that. No machine for Linux. Actually, let's just give you the download link there because you can also run it on Windows. Alright, so install's done. Awesome. What I can now do is go no machine. Let me bring this up. DigiByte miner, it's already found it. Cool, we're going to connect. DigiByte. I'm going to save the password because I don't care enough. What we can also see here is it says DigiByte is connected. So this is what we'll use now. This will make our life a bit easier. Don't show this again. Don't show this again. Mute the audio. Yeah, cool, whatever. Sweet. This is going to make life a bit easier because now I have the GUI and it's going to be, it's going to keep things running. Like for example this, even after I close down Putty. So if I were to run something inside of Putty and I then go and close this, it's going to kill it off. That's bad because you want it to keep mining, obviously. So if you're clever and you're experienced enough to not specifically need this guide, then you can run things in what are called screen sessions. I'm going to presume that it's easier to do it this way, and it works for experienced and inexperienced people alike. So let's go back here. We're going to need to run DigiByte. Okay. So I've mentioned in here you don't specifically need to make changes to the digibyte.conf. You can launch it just with this. Let's do that. Actually, where did I put it? DigiByte 7. Why did I not see it before? Anyway, we're going to extract DigiByte. I could actually put that in there as well. I don't think I've mentioned this is how you extract DigiByte. So using the tower command, we're going to extract. We're going to be verbose. We're going to use gzip compression, and we're telling it this is the file that we're going to extract. So if we now run, we're going to make DigiByte. We're going to now run, actually I can just copy it. Desktop DigiByte to .digibyte. What have I put in it? Nice and easy. So the only thing that I actually need is testnet equals 1, server equals 1, which should, I haven't put that in there. Interesting. Actually, let's get rid of that port because I don't want that in there either. We're now going to also copy the blockchain that I pre-downloaded. Desktop testnet 4 into the DigiByte directory. Now we can launch DigiByte. I can't launch it from there. I'm gonna have to go. Seven 7.2. Have I updated this since 7. Yeah. So I was doing a whole lot of beta testing. Anyway. 7.1, 7.2. We'll give this a moment. While this is happening, let's bring up the testnet explorer. And again, we'll pop the links in the chat. So you can see down here that these blocks are being mined with Odo, because on the testnet we've already replaced Myriad Grostal. So we have SHA-256, Odo, Skeen, and Quibbit. Interesting. DGB256 Online is mining Odo. Awesome. I've gone through recently, and actually I'll tell you what, I'll show you. If we go to explorer-1.digibyte servers, I've gone and put in a whole lot of these. So these will eventually show up on the main Digi Explorer as well. You can see they were mined by pro hashing. This is mainnet as well, by the way, because we're on block 8.8 million. So pro hashing, unknown nump pool, SA pool, Zerg pool, GG pool, mining Dutch. These are all the people that are mining. GOS.cx, Coin Foundry. Don't have everybody's details. It's actually really helpful when people go through, if they add in a unique Coinbase string. You're not obliged to though, but yeah, it's kind of cool because you can then attribute it to the people. Where are we? 13 days behind, so this shouldn't take too long for us to catch up. Hide. Why would it hide? That's alright. So we can minimize. Actually, let's make a new window. Ah, cool. There we go. I'm presuming the poor little laptop's struggling to keep up because of no machine and all the other sort of stuff going on. You can do it, little laptop. So this is a wallet that I've already previously been using to mine DigiByte with. There's just a couple in there. $19 million with 18,000 immature, 20,000 immature. That can't be right. 22,88441. That's way more than I thought was in there. So these are all testnet coins. They're effectively worthless. They are worthless. But if you want, I can send you some testnet DigiByte. Actually, in fact, what I can do is go to testnet dot. Why did I put it as testnet dot DigiByte servers? What do I do? Testnet -1. .us, that's what it is. Here we go. So anytime you go and request some testnet DigiByte, you can go and yeah, let's just use this and I'll show you what happens. We're going to go and we're going to send you testnet coins. They've now been sent through the Dandelion privacy protocol. It should show up in your wallet within the next 60 to 90 seconds, and this will actually show it on the testnet Digi Explorer when it catches up. Anyway, whatever. Let's pop this in here as well, just in case anybody's curious about playing around with some testnet DigiByte. And let's go back, all the way to here. Okay, so now start the autocompiler. This is going to take a little while, so let's minimize this because we don't care about keeping it open. We can also minimize that. Yeah. Autominer source, and we're going to run. Actually, I don't need that. So let's strip out the. Okay, I don't have a Cyclone 5 starter kit. I'm just going to do it for the DE10 Nano. Could not locate Quartus path. Ah, of course. Let's try this again. Because I did not log out, so coming all the way back up to here, you can either log out of your X session or run the following command in your terminal. I ran that. I've created a new terminal. I haven't logged out. Super clever. That's why it didn't work. User specified to use one process but two processes were detected, which could be used to decrease the runtime. Interesting. We'll come back to that later. Right. So we have the autocompiler running. What does the autocompiler do? The autocompiler, here we go, will automatically create the files needed to program both the Cyclone 5GX starter kit as well as the DE10 Nano. If you use only one, you can safely drop the other. I just love watching this kind of thing scroll past. I just think it's cool. I don't know. It means nothing to me, but it's just cool watching it scroll past regardless, right? Next, what we're going to want to do is start up a mining pool. So if we go to new window, and now I'm going to run this. Actually, I'll tell you what to, if we go in here, we'll go receive, and I'll show you how we can do this. We're going to go show label. We're going to, what are we calling this? Odocrypt testnet laptop. To request one DigiByte. When you click on request payment, it's going to generate you a QR code. I'm going to grab this address here. One of the cool things you can also tick is generate a BIC32 address. So we'll call this Odocrypt testnet DigiByte BIC32, and if we go request payment, let's request it as a DGBT1 address. Let me just pop this in my notepad window here as well, just for safekeeping, for easier access. So what we're going to do is, where's my other new window? This one. Paste. Why are you not pasting? Unable to read the default auth file. Home, DigiByte testnet4.cookie. Please specify auth file. I wonder why it can't. That's fine, we can do this instead. Python pull.py testnet. Was it pass or password? Pass. RPC user, RPC pass. Successfully acquired template. So this is key. What this basically means is this is all up to date, and it's gone, and the pull software has asked the DigiByte core wallet basically how far along the blockchain it is and what it's going to need to pass to the miner in order to mine the next block. Alright, so you can replace that with your own address. Yep, cool. Now we're going to bring up the miner. So we've already got the autocompiler running. We've also got the mining pool running. We're now going to open another one. New terminal. Source. Profile. And we're going to change into the miner directory. Now comes the fun part. This is probably going to fail because the autocompiler is still running. But what we should be able to do is just run this. Enter the device that I want to scan. I thought I only had one device. Enter a number from 0 to 0. Right, this one here, 0, the DE-SOC. What I'll quickly do is let's bring up a new tab and we'll go source, profile, and where is it up here? This JTAG config. So this will show you a list, so it shows you that we've got the DE-SOC. This is what the DE10 Nano calls itself, DE system on chip. If you have multiple devices, you'll start to see them underneath here. Same for if you have multiple different kinds. They'll all show up there as well. So keep that in mind. Quartus path JTAG config is really helpful. So what we're going to do is we're going to use device 0. Cool, so it's told us we're now going to use this. So the 2-6 part indicates that it is on USB hub 2, port 6, I believe. So if you have a bunch of different USB hubs, you'll see that the numbers themselves will start to change there. Now this is saying here it can't find the latest miner.sof file. Now the miner SOF file is what gets flashed to the actual FPGA itself. Now, autocompile.sh is running. It's working away right now. Let's try it again. I don't think it will have finished that quickly. Yeah, so it's still going. This will probably, if memory serves me right, the whole entire process for this on a moderate computer will take a couple of hours. Yeah, so it is still programming and working away. So this is it going through and creating the files necessary to program the FPGA. This is what will actually program the FPGA. So this Quartus path, Quartus STP -t mine.tcl. We're telling it we want to program this particular device here. Now, this is exactly why it is basically unfeasible to create an ASIC for Odocrypt. You could, in theory, create an ASIC, but you're going to have to reprogram it, just like this, every 10 days. Now, ASICs are supposed to be programmed once and not change. They are an application-specific integrated circuit. They don't change. So all of the SHA-256 miners, for example, the ones that were being used 5 years ago can still be used today. They're still exactly the same. The protocol hasn't changed. The idea is it's not like a cell phone which you update or an FPGA which you reflash, for example. It stays exactly the same, and that's it. If you change any of the parts of the algorithm, this is why Odocrypt has been created, because as you change these particular parts of the algorithm, it renders the hardware side of it ineffective. So if you have an ASIC, your hardware is set to program it based on the algorithm, and by changing the algorithm, it means that the hardware no longer works entirely. So the theory is, if you were to reprogram certain parts of it, you would basically just be using an FPGA. Now, the benefit of an FPGA is that it is both consumer-grade hardware, and you can also get specific mining hardware. In fact, I've been talking with some of the BlackMiner people about their BlackMiner F1 series. So, excuse me. I've been working with BlackMiner to try and get this tested and confirm support for DigiByte Odocrypt when we launch on mainnet come around about July the 19th, give or take. Now, so they are an example of a specialized FPGA. But like this DE10 Nano, you can literally go to Amazon. So let's do this. Let's go Amazon DE10 Nano. And you can buy it off Amazon. Now, can you do this with an ASIC? Not really. Actually, let's look up SHA-256 ASIC. Right, so you can get the little USB sticks which don't work. Hey, look at that. You can get an S17 Pro. Look at the price. Yeah, I don't feel like spending $4,000 just to take a punt on mining. So that's one of the advantages, is that the hardware itself is actually relatively low cost. We're going to see, no doubt, obviously, that over time there will be better and better implementations of the algorithm on more and more specialized FPGAs. So things like the F1 miner by BlackMiner might end up being a bit faster than the DE10 Nano miner. And we're going to see that sort of competition, and that's healthy, that's great. But the idea being that you will always be able to use some of this relatively off-the-shelf hardware is pretty cool. And we're also, it's another tick in the box in terms of being anti-ASIC. We don't have just one vendor effectively dominating the mining space. Anybody can make these FPGAs with enough knowledge. Yeah, it's a little bit beyond me myself, but I've actually been talking with people in the developer channel who have made their own FPGA as well. So there are people out there who can do that kind of thing, and it's not as specialized and centralized as ASICs are. Anyway, so if we come back down here, where were we? We were actually, oh cool, someone's going to put Stratum implementation in there. Awesome. This is what we've just gone and run. So this is going to wait for the autocompiler to finish. So the autocompiler is what makes those files every single day, and this miner is what will flash the FPGA itself. So yeah, this will probably take a couple of hours, but we're basically, I think we're pretty much done. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to pre-compile this. This is part of doing it live, really. The theory is you can go through and you can pre-compile all of these. Each one ends up being several megs big, I think, give or take. They're around about 10 megs. So you could go through, if you really wanted to, and go through and pre-program this until the end of time. You could pre-program 100 centuries worth of 100 years worth of these actual SOF files, and have it ready specifically for your individual hardware. It's this reprogramming part which is key here. It's the fact that you have to reprogram the hardware with a specific seed at the appropriate time. Otherwise, the hashes that the FPGA generates are 100% worthless and they're completely void. So it's that reflashing process which makes it anti-ASIC. Let's have a quick look. Is there anything else? Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Congratulations, you are now solo mining. Oh, did I put an image up? I did. So this is what it should look like if you successfully flash the FPGA. So it'll say here info selected DE SoC. So this is the USB Blaster 1-3. This is the Cyclone 5 starter kit. It then says, right, we're going to flash this particular device. We flash it with this file here, output files miner underscore, and then the seed. Programming successful. So the entire programming took 8 seconds for it to actually flash it. That's not very long, but that has to happen on the testnet every single day. And then we basically just start mining away, and that's it. You won't get anything on screen until it actually finds a block. Now at the moment, if you have a single DE10 Nano on the testnet, you will find multiple blocks a day. Maybe that's something that we can look at in future as an easy way to add the Coinbase string or something like with your name, because that would be cool. Why don't we do that really quick? We can put in a feature request later on. Does anybody have any other questions before we kind of wrap this up? We've been going now for a little over an hour, but from start to finish, we've done this in an hour. So even if you are not super experienced, hopefully you'll be able to follow along with this video in the future and try it out. Let's actually go in. We've got the links. Yeah, so you can go into choosing FPGA hardware, and there are links here where you can do it. You can either buy them directly from Terasic or Amazon. Oh, someone's going to put an Amazon direct link in there. Awesome. So you can go and buy this yourself. Now, I make absolutely no claims whatsoever about the profitability of this. If you go and buy this particular model, this is just the one that we've been using as we get things set up. People out there quite possibly already have hardware that is slightly more efficient than this. I don't entirely know. But we're going to see. Now, nobody knows how profitable it's going to be until it is live on the mainnet. Right now, this is only on testnet. If anybody tells you it's going to be profitable on the mainnet using this, they don't know. They're lying. It may well be. We don't know. So if you are buying this, expect that you're buying it and you're doing it for the learning curve, and you're going to support the network with the hash rate. To run these are approximately 8 watts. So I think on average, depending on your power cost, if you run it for a whole year, it's going to cost you a couple of bucks worth of power. It's really nothing at all to run one of these FPGAs. So there are other slightly more powerful ones, like I think the Black Miner F1 Mini is 40 watts. So at 40 watts, you're going to expect it's going to consume approximately 5 times the power. You're going to hope that you're going to get a decent hash rate increase over and above it, but we don't know just yet. But we'll see. So July 19th is when this will go live on the mainnet. Now, the only thing that's going to change is the pool here. So we mentioned testnet. So basically, all you're going to do is change that from testnet to mainnet, or just delete it even. And you're going to put your DigiByte address in there, and that's literally it. You'll be mining on the mainnet after you restart the DigiByte wallet, that is. I think that's us though, so hopefully you've enjoyed this. Let's have a quick look and see if there's any other questions. Thanks for the tutorial, gonna watch on the screen later. Yeah, no worries, David. I'm glad I could go through and do this. Is there anyone in the community with experience to adapt this for GPU? The power comparisons are crazy. Yeah, so I mentioned this actually, I think, here? No. Choosing FPGA hardware under FPGA mining. I think I mentioned it here. Yeah, so where GTX 1070 consumes 180 watt, this consumes 8 watts. So although a GTX 1070 is going to suck through, what are we, 20 times more power? Yeah. That's going to burn into your ongoing running costs and things like that. It's going to have to be a significant amount more powerful in terms of the hash rate that it's generating. So the DE10 Nano generates, I think it's 37.5 mega hash per second of Odocrypt hash. Now I've had some people on the mining channel try and say, oh, that's, if you compare that to Ketchak. Actually, let's do this. Let's go whattomine.com ASIC. Is Ketchak in here? Yeah, it is. So they're already, they default to gigahash, not megahash. Which is, so there's 1,000 mega hash in a gigahash. They're expecting an ASIC, the default ASIC that they populate this with, has 29 gigahash. So that's 29. It's almost 1,000 times more than this. So there's no point in comparing a Ketchak ASIC with the DE10 FPGA because they're completely different and intentionally so. So there's no way for you to know comparatively until somebody actually builds a GPU miner how efficient it will be to run it on a GPU. We've tested it on a CPU, on a mid-range. I think it was an i3, like low to mid-range. We were something like 1,500 times more efficient using this FPGA compared to CPU mining. So CPU mining is out, which is good. We don't want it anyway. GPU though, who knows? By the time we get a CUDA developer to look at developing it for CC miner or someone even for CG miner, it might end up being relatively comparable. Yeah, we'll find out later on. If we can get somebody to develop it. None of the developers that we have at the moment are CUDA specialists, which is the programming for NVIDIA cards. So if you know anybody, hit them up. Or alternatively, I think we've had somebody reach out to T-Pruvit, who makes the CC miner software. Let's have a quick look here. However, the competition won't be as tough as the other algo ASICs. Yeah. So the other 4 algorithms are currently ASIC mined at the moment. The goal, I think, after this is for us to go through and look at something. What's that algorithm? If we got a GPU, hang on, let's have a look here. What's that other one that's been... Cuckoo Cycle looked interesting. ProgPOW also looked interesting. I have a feeling we're going to be looking into some of these as time goes on. It's also worth checking out what the Vertcoin team are doing with VertHash. That actually looks really cool as well, and I could actually see us potentially using something like that in the future as well as one of the DigiByte algorithms. So who knows in terms of what we're actually going to do for the algorithm for GPU after Odocrypt. But jump in the mining channel, jump in the developer channel, and let us know. The idea being that we want something that is going to boost the security of DigiByte. If we're going to be replacing an algorithm, we don't want to go and replace it with something else. I mean, ETHash is even, there's ASICs for ETHash now, and so replacing it with an ETHash algorithm, it's kind of pointless. I've got to look up, obviously, a bit more about these Cuckoo 39, Cuckoo Cycle. That looks interesting. Yeah, so actually, let's quickly bring that up. Odocrypt.digibyteservice.io, and let's put this in here as well. Thanks for your answer. Appreciate your efforts. Yeah, no worries. D. Mill thought this was an XRP channel. Unfortunately, you are sorely mistaken, and I won't go into it though. How are we looking? Percentage acceptance 54%. So let's go back to the Explorer here. Now, if we go to see all blocks, we can look at things like Mining Dutch, who have updated. Now, what happens is when you update and you use the new 7.17.2 wallet, you effectively signal that once block 9.1 million is reached, we will replace Myriad Grostal. So any and all mining pools should ideally update now. We have to get through to 70%. And once we reach 70%, it is effectively locked in. I wonder if I've got the detail. I don't have that handy. Never mind. So once we reach 70%, it is locked in, and we consider that enough of a consensus that come block 9.1 million, we're going to start mining with Odocrypt. You'll need more DigiByte. Yeah, tell me about it. Now, at the moment, we're only at 54% acceptance. That means that of all of these blocks which have been solved today, I think there's, what are we, 200? 3051. Yeah. So there's 200 blocks here. So of these 200, there's about 108, approximately, give or take, that are already supporting and signaling support for Odocrypt because they're running 7.17.2. A lot of older ones are running 6.17.5. They need to update. So what we can also do is if we go to dgbwiki.com and let's go to pools. Greetings from Scotland. Nice. So what we can see here is a lot of the ones that have an updated Coinbase string are ones that have already updated. Most of them. The Peter pools, these need to be updated. I think a lot of them are signaling that they're still on 6.17.5. But most of the other ones have upgraded. Most of the known ones. At this point, the Blocks Factory have not, so we can go through to... Let's actually put this in the chat here. If we go to dgbskin.theblocks factory, let's have a look and see if they've updated. I don't think they have, or our numbers would have gone up. Let's go stats. Come on, Blocks Factory. 6.17.2, so they're super old. Wow. So the Blocks Factory really need to update because they are on a super old version. So let's say you're a miner though, and you've been mining with the Blocks Factory, but you want to support Odocrypt and the signaling for it. What you would do is instead of mining here on Skeen, so they've got 33 gigahash, instead what you should do is aim your hash power at another pool that is already supporting it. So we're saying here 7.17.2 plus, so these are the ones that we know have updated. I don't think all of Peter Pool is updated. I don't know why that's been put in there. I think some of them have. But anyway, if we look through this list, most of them have. But if we go to the Blocks Factory, the Blocks Factory has no, because they are not running version 7.17.2. Blockmasters still need to update. CYBTC still need to update. ePool. So all of these need to update. But if you were mining Skeen, what you could do instead is come to here and let's have a look. So we've got the Skeen column, and so you could instead go to BSOD. You could instead go to somewhere else like Miners Pool or Ice Mining because they support Skeen. Actually, Ice Mining haven't updated. I was talking with them last week. They're going to update. So don't go there with your Skeen hash power. But if you are a miner, that's potentially something that you could look at. Putting your hash power behind somebody who is running 7.17.2. The other thing is, while we're here, something cool, if you go to digistats.digibyteservers.io, in case you're curious, I put this website together thanks to Marvin from the Verge team. Helped me out with this, so you can, actually let's full screen it. So you can see transaction volumes going up and down every 15 minutes. Current node connections is 108. This current node is also the Explorer 1 server. This is where it's getting that from, so you can see 108 connections. The more, the better. Red would be 8. I've got orange is up to 50, and we've got 108. It can go all the way up to 300. The more it's connected to, the faster it's going to get the updates to the block details and things like that. The less likely of any kind of I forget the word. What's it called? Like an isolation attack happening. You can see here the number of blocks and the number of headers. So 272. This should also match up here. If we reload this, well, it's just slightly updated now. If I refresh the page, it should be the same. 274. Cool. The current time here in New Zealand, the mempool load, and the difficulty. So we can see the difficulty for each of them going up and down and up and down, and this is all thanks to the... What have we got there? Yeah, difficulty going up and down. This is all thanks to multi-shield. It's able to handle the up and downs of all of this in quick succession. This is obviously scaled quite differently on here, you can see, so it looks a lot more even. But when we change the scaling here and we make it, what is it, linear versus logarithmic, you can see that we actually, in between like a couple of blocks, will have a 5 times hash power increase between them, or difficulty increase. So it's really quite fascinating to see. Yeah, so I hope this has been interesting for you. Let's quickly check this. I think this is still going. Let's try one more time. Want to scan 0. Yeah, so it's still running. That's alright. I'll come back to this in a little while. I'll send a screenshot. We'll put it up on Twitter. Share the video around. Maybe I'll go back later on and kind of chop it up and get rid of some of the downloading and things like that. Hope you've enjoyed it. And if you've got any suggestions for other videos and things like that, let me know. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care and have an awesome day.